We start with a point.
Hi, welcome back. Rob Bryanton again. Today's entry is called Dark Gravity Across the Dimensions. And the image that we're looking at here comes from an article published March 16, 2009 in New Scientist magazine. The article is written by Marcus Chown. Now, one of the arguments I've advanced in my book and this blog has some interesting echoes in his article, which makes the point I've used for my reasoning about dark matter and dark energy many times before. Gravity is the only force that exerts itself across the extra dimensions. Now, the three blue bars you're seeing here represent the universe at three different scales. And the proposition from the scientists whose theoretical work is being reported in this story is that gravity might vary depending upon the scale you're viewing the universe. Those scientists are Justin Curry, now of the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia, and his colleagues Nias Afshordi and Gazel Gesnizjani of the Perimeter Institute for Theoretical Physicists in Waterloo, Ontario. I'm going to quote from the article now. They have listed a series of cosmological observations that cannot readily be explained with a one-size-fits-all gravity. None of these effects on its own, they stress, necessarily indicates anything amiss. But intriguingly, all of them melt away if you make just one assumption, albeit a controversial one, that how gravity works depends on the scale on which you look at it. The graph next to each of the blue bars then shows how gravity might vary with scale. For more local observations of our universe, the standard linear model for gravity holds true. The second graph indicates that at larger scales, gravity operates differently, and this would account for the effects of dark matter, which has been shown to be unevenly distributed throughout the universe. It's lumpy rather than smooth. The largest scale shown in this picture, on the other hand, shows how gravity drops off in a way that is larger than the normal linear curve. And this is a proposed explanation for the evenly distributed dark energy. The universe is flying apart faster than we should expect it to, because at the largest scales, gravity is lower than a linear relationship would lead us to expect. Now, with my project, I propose that dark matter and its lumpiness are explained by the fact that there are other universes which are nearby to our own in the nearest extra dimensions, and dark matter's effects are a direct result of the fact that gravity is the only force that can exert itself across the extra dimensions. In the same way, these scientists are proposing that extra dimensions are responsible for dark matter, and there is research being done right now that could, in the next few years, actually confirm or deny the existence of extra dimensions through direct observation of gravitational anomalies. I'm going to quote a little bit more from that same article. According to general relativity, light and matter feel gravity in the same way. They both follow the same paths around massive objects dictated by their warping of spacetime. But any pure theory of gravity, such as Curry's variable gravity, affects only matter. So proving the existence of hidden dimensions could be as simple as observing the bending, or gravitational lensing, of light from a distant source as it passes by a galaxy cluster on its way to Earth, and so inferring the cluster's mass. If we can then measure the cluster's gravitational pull on a second cluster, for instance by how fast it is dragging the second cluster towards it, we can acquire a second independent mass estimate. If hidden dimensions are modifying gravity, the two estimates will be different by 20 to 30%, says Curry. Current galaxy cluster measurements are not quite accurate enough to pinpoint an effect of this size, but the current generation of surveys should deliver a definitive answer within the next 10 years. The explanation of dark energy that Justin Curry and his colleagues are proposing is related to my own suppositions, but not as directly connected. With my project, I propose that the effects of dark matter come from the most directly adjacent extra dimensions, the fifth dimension in particular. I proposed that the effects of dark energy come from the highest extra dimensions, which have more degrees of freedom, away from our own location within the omniverse, of all possible universes and multiverses. Thinking of our own universe and all of its potential space-time expressions as a point in the seventh dimension gives us the way to think about how the dimensions beyond that would pull equally hard on the universe in all directions, creating the eerily omnidirectional pull that science is seeing for dark energy. With their project, Khoury and his colleagues are proposing that dark energy comes from a brain in at least one additional dimension that is infinite in size. Another way of saying what I'm proposing? Not directly, but a similar idea. Now, some of my past blogs where I've talked about dark matter and dark energy and how they can fit within this way of visualizing the dimensions include dark energy, Linelanders in the LHC, randomness in the missing 96%, dark matter, dark energy, dark information, the poll question on dark matter and the LHC, the poll question on dark matter, energy, and dimensions. Now, to finish, here's a song that suggests that all of us might have little bits of our awareness that are already connected to other dimensions, and that we sometimes connect to those parts of ourselves in our dreams. The song's called I Remember Flying. That's all for this time around. Next time we're going to talk about some more of the polls that I've been running on my blog. This is poll 31. We'll be talking about what's before and after. From Rob Bryanton, Imagining the 10th Dimension video blog, enjoy the journey.
I remember flying so high, I'd push off from the ground and push into the sky. I would leave the early bonds of gravity behind. I remember flying from some other time. I remember floating, ascending to the clouds, achieving elevation, then descending to the ground. I remember thinking it was natural as can be up there floating. I remember moving in languid slow motion, like some giant creature deep in the ocean, flying, diving, swooping, soaring, climbing, looping, laughing. I remember flying from so long before, and I think that there will come a day I'll be flying once more. I remember flying for more than my dreams. I wish I was flying right